to the bone. Watch out, 'cause I'm in my zone.
Hello and a very good evening. Monday night action in the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa. Great to have you with us at Te Rauparaha Arena here in Porirua, Wellington. The Queens and the Whai doing battle tonight. Round 4 action in the Tauihi. Justin Nelson and Miles Pearce with you. Great to have you with us. Gotta love a Monday night on Sky Sport. And if the first time is anything to go by when these two teams met right here, Miles, we're in for a great game tonight because that was an absolute beauty.
It was indeed. Queens got out by 20 points in that one. The Whai managed to bring it back to just a 4-point game. Very much looking forward to this one. It's going to be a great game. Let's
have a look at the ladder as it stands at the moment in the Tauihi. Kahu on top without a blemish at the moment, but they've had some close calls. The Whai were in action yesterday and they went down on the road to the Hoiho, who got their first ever win as a franchise, so congratulations to them. And you can see the Queens at the moment right in the middle of the mix with a game in hand. Speaking of games to come. In the Tauihi, Kahu and Hoiho are in action tomorrow night. They've already had a couple of very close games. You would not think when you see those two play that it's top versus bottom.
No, not at all. And it's about time the Southerners got to win. They're too talented and too well coached to not have a win up until this point. So it was absolutely fantastic to see them get on the board.
The Puakai and the Queens have already had a couple of good matchups. They're back doing battle on Saturday in a big doubleheader at Cowles Stadium, and that is sure to be a sellout with the Sal's NBL, the Rams playing after that one. And the Whai and the Kahu do battle on Sunday afternoon in Taronga. The action keeps coming thick and fast in this competition. Let's have a look at the Whai starters tonight. Lambert, Flavel, McGoldrick, Rabadi, Green, a couple of big outs. Dom McBride is missing through injury. Tiana Clark, of course, is with the 3x3 Tall Ferns. Can't wait to see them, along with the 3x3 Tall Blacks, in action in the Commonwealth Games. And, of course, all the Commonwealth Games in its entirety, all the action, all the sports, right here live on Sky Sport.
I think there's going to be a few late nights for me getting up or staying up and watching some of those games. It's going to be an absolute spectacle.
Let's catch up with Whai coach Mel Bennett.
Evening, Coach, and welcome to town. A really tough doubleheader for you guys. Very little turnaround time. How you been preparing for this in such a short space of time?
I think we've actually had to just take a chill pill for a little bit, and everyone's had to have a doubleheader. So just about character building and resilience in between, and making sure that there's rest and recovery and good nutrition as well.
You guys are down a couple of bodies tonight. How are you going to deal with the 3 imports from the Queens, who have been playing very well this season?
We're actually going to try and play at our pace. Without Dominique, it makes it a little bit harder, but thankfully we've got Pep and also Kendall injecting in tonight, and we can't wait for Tiana to come back as well.
Awesome, congratulations and good luck for tonight.
Always a pleasure to hear from Mel Bennett. She's sitting just a few feet away from us, Miles, and I had the pleasure of catching up with her just a few moments before we came on air, and I'm really impressed with what she's done with the Whai.
It's been really good, and they've had a couple of disruptions, and no Clark and no McBride is a big one for them. But added to that is, I suppose, the trip as well. But she is doing a fantastic job with this group, and it shows with the record, 3 wins on this season, and it's going to be a great game as we see the starters for the Queens.
Gustafsson, Hunter, Beck, Chagas and Nard. It's a fairly well-settled starting unit now. Speaking of outs, Coach Tanya Tupu's actually on the couch at home, out ill. She's watching us right now, which means we're going to catch up with assistant coach who stepped up with the whiteboard tonight into that head coach position, Sam Toomey.
Evening, Coach. Tough one for you taking the reins at short notice. How have you prepared for this?
Hey, look, we've got a good blueprint. Tanya's laid down a great foundation as the architect of our program, and all I've got to go do is be the tradie that gets the job done today, that's all.
Hey, that's a great answer. The girls, the Whai coming in a couple of bodies down. They've just played a tough back-to-back. How are you going to take advantage of maybe some tired legs and some inexperience?
Yeah, look, I mean, our normal pace is pretty quick anyway, as we want to go to. So we just want to stick to how we play, make adaptations as we go, depending on what they come with. Obviously, they had a game last night that didn't go quite their way, so we're expecting adjustments tonight, and we'll just have to be ready for those and make decisions as we go.
Thank you very much. Good luck for tonight.
Well, Miles, let's have a look at the head-to-head between these two teams, and it's dominated by the internationals. Have a look at that in terms of the leaders in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. World-class talent has come to the Tauihi in this inaugural season, and haven't we loved watching these players come in on our shores and ply their trade and show us just how big and how exciting the global game is.
It's absolutely fantastic. Some WNBA flavour sprinkled throughout the league. And a couple of people are shocked and surprised to find out this is the first season.
Yep, it is. Jamie Nard, pick 13, WNBA draft. Florencia Chagas, pick 31, WNBA draft. Nikki Green, pick 26 in the WNBA draft. And of course, Kyra Lambert, a product of Duke University.
And that's a fairly established program in the US right there.
Fairly established. The officials tonight, Melanie O'Connor, Sasha Nicholson, and Amy Jo Clark. An all-female officiating panel tonight. Fantastic. There's Queen T. Got the fans in the background just about ready for this one this evening. Monday night action in the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa. The visiting Whai, of course, wearing that striking pink uniform, and speaking to some of the young fans out and about, they really love the Whai uniform.
The colourways are absolutely fantastic. As we get the Queens in their black with teal trim. I'm not quite where that fits on the Resine line for that colour there, but this whole league at the moment is absolutely on fire, and it's absolutely fantastic to see throughout the country such a high quality of basketball for the women's game.
I think the good news is Resine's got you covered just about for any colour you want.
Oh yeah. My colour wheel's not that broad, but I know the Resine colour wheel is very, very immense.
I know one player you're really excited to watch tonight is the Whai number 54, Nikki Green.
She has been absolutely amazing, and I think she just plays a wonderfully tough game, and I'm very excited to watch.
So not too far away from a start here to this one, round 4 action in the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa. Of course, more action coming your way tomorrow night. Kahu and the Hoi Ho, as just this celebration of basketball between Tauihi and the NBL just continues. It seems like there's games coming at us thick and fast every night.
And every game seems to matter immensely at the moment, particularly for the men, for the Sal's NBL.
I know there's been some people trying to work out the final 6 today in the Sal's NBL. It's been splashed across social media. Have fun with that, because I've got no idea what's going to happen in that competition over the next couple of weeks. Chance here for the Whai to get off to a scoring start, and they do, through Sian Rabadi, who last time out in this matchup, it must be said, had a really good game with 17 points. Queen's first look. Stella Beck drains the triple from the top of the arc.
And she was mentioning 17 points. She had 17 points in their last encounter. And Jamie Nard missed the second half of the game due to an injury.
Yeah, she did. She went down with a back injury at halftime in that game. Now, there's an offensive foul here, and that is against Sian Rabadi.
And a couple of these key players for the Whai are going to need to be careful. They can't afford to get into foul trouble without the likes of McBride and Clark.
Look like they're playing in a very high zone at the moment. The Whai, Nikki Green, the anchor in the middle, as the Queens try and work their way through it. Here's Chagas. Ball on the floor, well shut down by Flavel. The skip pass cut out by McGoldrick. Turnover. The Whai come up with it through Lambert here. What a season she's had. Nikki Green out to Rabadi into the corner. Flavel now back up high to Lambert. Pushes it down to McGoldrick on Nard. Buries her head, goes at the hoop and scores.
That was a great possession. You saw the ball go through a number of sets of hands, get from one side of the floor, inside, outside. Possession like that is what the Whai are going to need to control the game and control the tempo, which is what Coach spoke about before the game.
Well, they've definitely come out with a game plan of playing in this zone, and there's a couple of triples for the Queens against that zone.
And how long can they stay in the zone if the Queens continue to shoot the ball like this?
Well, we're going to find out. Here's Rabati, shut down by Stella Beck. Tried to hand it off to Lambert. Chagas, who is always involved in everything, putting some pressure on. Nard with the rebound here. And the Queens quickly up the floor to Gustafsson. Well done, Kyra Lambert to chip in and knock it away. So a couple of turnovers for the Queens. Rabati back the other way, McGoldrick with the finish.
The pace of the play is going to be, Queens will want to get up and down a little bit quicker. The Fire probably want to play at their own pace and a little bit slower. And I think that with Lambert and Green in that on-ball screen, we'll be able to create a number of issues and mismatches and advantages for the Fire out of that.
Stella Beck with the miss on the drive. Lambert here to Rabati, taking on Chagas, doubled by Beck. She'll get it back from the corner. That'll come up short. Rebound. Florencia Chagas, the Argentinian 21-year-old guard. Into the corner. On the charge, Hunter on the elbow, right on the edge of the Razine. Jamie Nard, first shot for her is a make.
Once again, you see the penetration of the zone, able to kick into an open player. After that first initial penetration by Grace Hunter, the Fire really need to make sure, as we see Rabati try and force something over the top, doesn't quite get it to go.
And I think for Sian Rabati with that pass as well, Nikki Green had already been in the key for 3 seconds, so if she had caught it, fair chance that she was going to get pinged.
There was going to be a call coming.
Here's Hunter turning the arc from that foul line, comes up short, knocked out of play. It's going to be a Queen's ball. Fly may be a little bit unlucky there as Kendall Haramaya coming onto the floor. Here's the GJ Gardner Holmes replay. And in the end, right call, Lambert getting the last touch. Inbound ball is a loose pass from Chagas. That's a bad turnover for the Queens.
And we've had a couple of turnovers each way that have just been maybe not quite enough on the pass or ill-timed. And that's something that both coaches will want to clean up right away.
Haramaya with the outstretched arm is allowed to continue the play. Beck went to the floor. The Fire will bring it in off the baseline. Nikki Green just turning to the officials there and asking for the foul.
I'm sure she asked politely as well.
Got no doubt about that. Here's Rabati. Picked it up on the dribble. Flavel, usually good from range, and there you go. So good basket there for Matangaroa Flavel. Her first big shot of the game. And that puts the Fire out by 1, and they force another turnover. So Queens need to look after the ball a little bit better here, Miles.
They do indeed. Too many turnovers, and that zone has kind of messed them up on a few of these possessions.
Rabati inside now, taking on Nard, who's called for the foul, and not a lot in that. And I think that might put the Fire to the Razine for 2 here. Sian Rabati. Jamie Nard still a little bit bewildered by the call.
Well, the advantage that the Fire have right now is their inside presence through Rabati and Green. They are 2 very, very strong players and not afraid to throw some elbows and fight for position.
Rabati makes both from the Razine. 4 points in the game early for her. Fire out by 3. And they stay in this zone. Nard from deep. That's a miss. Rebound. Rabati. And at the moment, the Queens losing on the boards as well. Good inside pass. Lambert to Nikki Green on the seal. And they're out by 5.
Nikki Green did all her work before she even caught the ball. That was great footwork and a great seal down low.
Couple of feet in the way there for Stella Beck.
And the possession before for the Queens, where it was a one-pass shot, the ball didn't go inside the three-point line. That's going to play into the Fire's hands if they stay in the zone. The Queens need to be better offensively, as we see Chagas get into the lane and then back it on out.
On the pull-up, the jumper, a little bit deep for Nard. Beck keeps it alive. Chagas, open three here, usually pretty good. That one in and out, did everything but drop through the net. And now the Whai look to extend this early 5-point lead. Hadamaya with the skip pass, McGoldrick. Lambert has Chagas right there with her, putting pressure on the step back. Lovely shot. Kyra Lambert, this Whai team coming off a loss, an unexpected loss against the Hoiho yesterday. They have come out firing early. They lead this one 15-8.
And when you say they're coming off a loss, that was just last night. Out of the two teams, you'd think the Whai would be, with a game yesterday and travel today, they would be the ones with a little bit of a slower, sluggish start, just proving everyone wrong, holding the Queens just to 8 points in this first part of the quarter here.
Well, no doubt the Queens are struggling against the zone. They are going at 3 of 8 compared to the Whai's 6 of 10. And the Queens already with 4 early turnovers in this game, which the Whai have turned into 9 points.
So tidy up your turnovers, and out of your 3 of 8, while taking some good shots there in your 3 of 8, a couple of those have just been one-pass threes. They need to make sure they look after the ball and they move the ball, attack the zone, get the ball inside, outside, to try and force the Whai to change up their defense.
There they are, the Queens. Jamie Nard, Florencia Chagos. Of course, a lot of international flavour in this Queens team. The American Jamie Nard, the Argentina Florencia Chagas, and wearing the number 2 for the Queens, Alan Gustafsson, the Swedish international.
It truly is the international game. And it's great that they're all here in Aotearoa plying their trade.
Here's Chagas in the corner. Can't convert Paris Mason into the game now. She'll have a defensive job to do for sure, you would think. Flavel to Green is doubled straight away by the Queens. Lambert, Green wants it inside. Gustafsson in the way, flicks it back out to Flavel. It's a miss. McGoldrick there to finish it off. She's fouled by Chagas. And Ezra McGoldrick is off to the Resine.
And the Queens are a little short-handed. We hadn't really spoken about that, although they are missing their coach, and hopefully Coach Tupu is on the couch and not yelling at the TV too much, but she's better soon. No Trousdale as well for them, which is a figuratively and literally a big part of the Queens lineup.
If you think it's 16-8 down with 3:58 to go in the first, that Coach Tanya Tupu sitting on her couch not yelling at the TV, make that 17-8. It would be a pretty vocal household at the moment, but we do hope to see Tanya Tupu back on the boards soon. Turnover. Mason was looking for Gustafsson, and the Whai come up with it again. So this is a really good start by the visitors now. And the Queens need to lock in here. Hadamaya on the drive. Beck right there. There's a little bit of a hook that went unseen. Flavel for 3. And look at that. It's a 12-point margin.
And another 3 points coming off turnovers. The Queens moved the ball well. Got a great look inside with Mason catching. She just tried to force a pass to a cutter down the lane.
Dangerous pass to Nard. And this is what the zone is doing to the Queens right now. They are really struggling to make any inroads against this Whai zone. Little presence inside the paint. And it's leading to a lot of unforced errors. Here's Lambert. Chagas right there with her. Rabadi. McGoldrick wants it inside, gets it now. On Beckley, who's into the action. Good defense. Now they've got to move the ball quickly here, the Queens. They can't allow this zone to get back down the floor in front of them.
And you're right there. I think the Whai have done a good job in a couple of transition possessions, just slowing that down as we see another turnover. Ball pressure forcing some sloppy passing.
Let's turn over number 6. 12 points off turnovers for the Whai in that 20 points that they've scored. That's the tail of the tape early in this one. Monday night action in the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi. Here's Flavel. Lambert on the curl, turns, shoots, back of the iron. Chagas with the rebound. Tries to push the pace a little bit. Beck now, Chagas through some traffic. She's fouled. This will count if it drops. It doesn't. She's off to the Racine.
And while playing at a slightly higher tempo, getting that pace they want, that ball movement was great. We see a little football carry by Chagas, tucking it under arm and being able to get to the Racine foul line. And this is where the Queens need to be right now. Down 12, 6 turnovers in the first. They need to try and get some points back on the board with the clock stopped.
Here is Florencia Chagas. Selected at pick 31 by the Indiana FIBA last year. Celebrated her 21st birthday here in New Zealand about a week out from the start of the Tauihi season. Will be heading back to Europe after the completion of her stint here in New Zealand. Converts from the Racine, it's back to 10. Flavel under pressure from Beck. Green bounces it back into Flavel. Stuck underneath the basket, she steps over the line, and the turnovers have been few and far between for the Whai.
A little bit of increase in ball pressure and defensive intensity there from the Queens. Manages to force a turnover as Coach Mel Bennett calls timeout.
And I like this. I like the fact that Coach Bennett knows that her team's had a good start. They've just given away a foul and a couple of points at the Racine and a turnover back the other way. Timeout straight away. Let's have a chat.
Tidy it up. They don't want to be in the situation where they were last time here, where they were down 20 and had to fight their way back into the game.
Let's not forget, if the Queens get this one tonight, they will take the all-important mini-series, the head-to-head on the Whai, having already beaten them once.
Speaking of some of the mini-series, you mentioned the Sal's NBL. So mathematically speaking, there's only one team right now that can't make the top 6 in the Sal's NBL.
I'm not sure if you've been following what's been going on today on social media, but my head is spinning from all the different results that could happen over the next couple of weeks in the Sal's NBL. It is just set up for probably the most amazing finish in the history of the league, 41 years. And I don't say that lightly, but right now there are so many different things that could happen, not only with who makes the final 6. There's Grace Hunter for 3. This would be good out of the timeout it is as she drains it. But where the teams actually finish in the final 6.
A month ago we were asking if the Saints could make the top 6, and now it's a question of the way they're playing, where are they going to finish in that top 6?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
You see Lambert off that high screen. Green coming up, reversing the ball. Flavel on the baseline drive. Can't get that to go with the right hand. Back off the other way.
Another score here for the Queens would be handy heading into quarter time. Nard's got a lot of space here on the wing. Fires away. Can't complete. Nikki Green, big and strong with the rebound over the top of Lily Taulale, who's making her debut for the Queens in the number 9 here tonight. She's been away with the under-17s.
And this is a big ask for her.
Playing on Green, tough matchup, called for the foul. And straight on to the score sheet is Lily Taulale.
Welcome to the league, young lady.
How about all the international basketball going on at the moment for New Zealand teams? 17 women, 17 men, and of course the Tall Blacks last night with a bronze medal at the Asia Cup.
Absolutely fantastic result. That is just such a huge, huge result, helping qualify for the World Cup. Great effort from Coach PC, Coach Cameron, Ross Zico, and all the boys involved.
Here's Nard.
The Whai staying in this zone as we see Hunter fire from the corner.
Comes up short. And Kyra Lambert loves this situation. Hard to the basket, is fouled to the Resine for a bonus. And you have to pick Kyra Lambert up early. You cannot afford to be going backwards as she's coming forwards.
She's just too good in that situation. Transition, you've got to force her away from the rim. Don't let her get on the straight line drive. And as you can see there, just very tough, finishing through contact, getting to the Resine foul line for the bonus shot.
As soon as you backpedal, she's going to take you all the way to the basket, Kyra Lambert. And as you said, Miles, you have to get up and force her to the side early. Dying seconds of this first quarter. Corner ball, Jacinta Beckley. That one's a little bit too deep. Battle on the rebound between Tolele and Rabati. Two rising Kiwis. 10-point margin. The Whai could hold this up and look at the last shot here. An opening quarter that's belonged to them. Hedemeier decides to go inside the green, turns around on the jumper, that's a miss, and now the Queens will get the last shot of the quarter. 6 seconds, 5, 4, countdown, Hunter, got to get a shot up with 2 to go. Can't complete the shot, and that'll do us for the first quarter. Coming off a loss down south against the Hoi Ho, the Whai have come out breathing fire tonight. Monday night action in the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa. The Whai lead the Queens by 10.
So basically what you have to do is stand on opposite free throws. And when I say go, all you have to go do is dribble the ball to the middle, wrap the ball around you once, and then head back to your basketball and score the basket. Okay, are you guys ready? What's your name, bro? KK. Everyone, please put your hands together for these two wonderful contestants. Okay, on the count of 3. Is everybody? 1, 2, 3, let's go. 1, wrap the ball around you once. Yeah, watch out that lesson. And then score the basket. Back to score the basket. Are you guys ready? Who's going to get the bucket? One basket over there. Okay, I like to keep on going to use the basket. Okay, we like that. Make some noise for these two contestants here. And then we've got some girls start winning prizes. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for your energy and your skills. Is everybody all right out there? Is everybody all right out there? Very quiet over this side. Is everyone all right over this side? It's like, you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Okay, very simple. If I ask you a question to do something, you do it. Okay, let's go. Tokomanawa Queen. Everybody in the place. Tokomanawa Queens.
Welcome back to Te Rauparaha Arena. Monday night action in the Tauihi. The Whai leading this one by 10 at quarter time. The Queens with an opening quarter littered by turnovers and just unable to nail their shots. Justin Nelson with you. Miles Pearce right here with me.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. 7 turnovers for the Queens. 4 of 14 from the floor. You turn that around for the Whai. They've been in that zone, being very disruptive. Only 3 turnovers and 8 of 17 from the floor. Shooting a much better percentage as we see Jamie Nard try and take control here.
And Alan Gustafsson, who's one of the key scorers in the competition, as Chagas just leaves it behind and Lambert will make her pay at the other end. Alan Gustafsson has not put up 1 shot so far in this game.
And she's had a couple of slow starts in some games that we've seen, but to not have a single shot for a player of that quality, that's a rare thing. Between Mason on the cross-court pass, finding Chagas for the wing 3.
And she'll be happy with that. A little bit of redemption for that turnover she had to start the quarter.
But once again, like you mentioned, a fairly basic ball handling error that led to another 2 points for the Whai.
And it is a key matchup. Lambert and Chagas. Nard will come up with it here. And the Queens with a chance to try and eat into this gap. No foul there. Clean Nikki Green, and Lambert again just takes it from one end to the other. She is proving to be an incredible handful right now for this Queens team.
We've seen the same play twice. That wasn't a replay. That was Lambert by herself.
Mason
Scoring.
with the offensive foul, putting Lambert to the floor. Flavel comes into the game for McGoldrick. There is Paris Mason, who the other night against the Hoi Ho had a plus 25 in 12 minutes.
Absolutely outstanding. She really has been getting it done on the defensive end for the Queens. Would love to see her step up offensively and look to score a little bit as we see the reverse not quite go as Gustafsson rebounds, kicks out to Hunter.
And she's got to get herself going, Ellen Gustafsson, and no better place to do that than at the defensive end. Here's Nard with the jumper. Sweet shot from the top of the Racine. And they're just hanging around the Queens.
Like you mentioned earlier, it's the turnovers that are just absolutely killing them. We've seen a couple already in this quarter, and they had 7 at quarter time. Just way too many right now.
That Nikki Green realised that Jamie Nard had tapped the ball. Then she was walking the length of the court back to play defence. There she is, 12 points, 12 rebounds a game. The only player, I think, at the moment in the Tauihi averaging a double-double per game.
Her work rate is impressive. She just goes and goes and goes. And speaking of going, there's Lambert going all the way to the basket, finishing with contact.
Well, she's got 10 points in the game, Kyra Lambert, and she's too quick for Florencia Chagas, and that's saying something. Second personal foul for Chagas.
It's a great matchup, but Chagas needs to look after the ball a little better on the end. And just give Lambert a little more space. Hasn't connected from range in this one. We know she's very capable of doing that. But Lambert's preference right now is putting the ball on the floor. So you need to gap her a little bit, give her some space, and encourage her to shoot that.
She's up to 11 in the game now, Lambert. Game high. Whai lead by 12. Hunter under pressure. Nard now turns, hands it off. Gustafsson, first shot of the game for her, is well short of the mark.
And not her preferred place to be doing her work. But with the offense a little disjointed there, she just had to force something up.
Here's Lambert. McGoldrick now, Hedemeier. Ball on the floor, gap is there. That may have come off her leg. Certainly, Gustafsson thought she knocked it onto the leg of Hedemeier. Whai are going to keep it though. Shot clock's at 8. Ball into Green. Inside, McGoldrick turns on Mason, comes up short. Mason gets after it, Gustafsson there, but look who comes up with it, Nikki Green. Somehow manufactured a shot out of that.
I just love watching her play. She's absolutely fantastic, and the way she plays, gets after it on the offensive glass and does her work inside the paint. Just a thing of beauty.
Inside, Nard gets it from Beck, turns on the basket, can't complete. And the Whai at the moment, just strangling the Queens. Every shot, every look, every opportunity's a hard one for the team in black. Back the other way. One-on-one opportunity.
Mason doing a great job walling up there and just not allowing anything inside.
The two number 13s. Nard to the basket, draws the foul. She's off to the Racine, and the Queens just need to work their way through how to play against this zone. Some 5-out action here. There's the foul against Kendall Hedemeier.
And that was a great baseline rip as we see Jamie Nard at the Racine foul line. Putting some pressure on the defense, putting some pressure on the officials to make a call as well. Few possessions from the Queens have been perimeter. Maybe a little too many jump shots. Let's get to the Racine foul line. Let's put pressure on the defense by putting the ball on the floor and looking after it. and putting some pressure on the officials to blow the whistle and put them into a situation where they can get some freebies.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing them just putting Nard inside the paint a little bit here, move Gustafsson out. Margin is at 10. Midway through the second, Lambert gave it back to McGoldrick, who actually fell over. Hettermeyer now with the skip pass. It's a good one to Flavel. Look at that. Nails another big triple. Matangarewa Flavel, that's her third of the game. She's made her presence felt. Beck pulls it up inside. Gustafsson can't control it. And a turnover again for the Queens.
Like we mentioned, the extra turnover there, adding to the number that they already have. As we see Beck trying to find Gustafsson inside. And I think the Whai are getting some great looks outside because of the work they're doing on the inside. So far, 16 points in the paint.
Hettermeyer fouled and sent to the line. That's a bit odd. Wouldn't mind seeing that on the... Get another look at that. Hettermeyer to the line. I didn't think she'd stop dribbling.
And they're definitely not in the bonus.
How did you see that?
I thought that may be on the floor, but obviously we don't have the same angles that the officials do.
Maybe had just picked it up as she puts the first away from the Razine. Margin at 14. Missed the start of the season through injury. Kendall Hettermeyer has started to string some games together though, and showing her class after a very successful collegiate career. Margin at 15 now. Queens, one of the top scoring teams in the competition, just struggling to find points, although that'll certainly help. Florencia Chagas with another triple.
Well, if you walked in the door right now, you wouldn't think the Queens have been averaging almost 73 points a game. They're just unable to keep that scoreboard ticking over right now, but that Chagas three is definitely going to help that situation.
She has 11 in the game. There's Rabadi inside. Foul called on Jacinta Beckley. Queens 4 of 4 from the Razine line tonight. The Whai are 8 of 10.
Once again, we see the Whai come down, work the ball inside. They're doing a great job with Green and Rabadi and just dominating points in the paint right now. And while the Queens are struggling to score and struggling to look after the ball at times, they really need to stop that, the dribble penetration and pass penetration into the paint. It's just a little too easy at times. And
well, it might be worth playing them at their own game. Go into a zone for a little bit. Change things up. Another bad turnover for the Queens. Gustafsson literally threw it straight to Hettermeyer. And they could be made to pay again. And they are. Rabadi on the reverse. That lead continues to jump out. It's now at 16.
And 2 more points in the paint. The Whai are just doing their work inside. And that's generating some very good looks as we've seen Flavel knock down a couple of triples as Beckley goes from 3.
Well, she copped just a little bit of a flick on the face that went unseen by the officials. You saw her reaction. She decided just to take a step back and take a shot. Inside, Green here. Gustafsson at first thought she had fouled her. Hettermeyer, Chagas in front of her with the pressure. Hettermeyer keeps it alive, but only as far as Stella Beck. Off to Chagas, another triple. No, that one slightly off.
What a rebound by Green.
What a pass by Lambert. Rabadi in the end was just a little bit too deep under the basket. Here's Grace Hunter for 3. That one off the back of the iron. As the Whai happy to settle things down. In fact, the Whai have called a Sky City player timeout here. They want to have a quick chat about this and maybe change something defensively. So Sky City player timeout called by the Whai.
I almost agree with you right now in
Almost
agree with the defensive side for the Queens. The only person to hit some threes right now is Flavel. They are doing the Whai are doing an absolute power of work inside. We saw Green with a great catch, didn't catch on balance, kick out, move the ball. So mix it up, go to a zone, see what that can cause. Because right now, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line for the Whai, and the only one that's hit is 5%. You've got to really know where she is.
Well, what's the points inside the paint for the Whai? Because they're certainly hurting the Queens from inside. We'll have an advanced ball out of the Sky City player timeout, so that's why we've just got a quick change here. Ball advanced, 13-point margin to the visitors.
And 18 points in the paint, 18 points off turnovers.
Points in the paint for the Queens, 2. Points off turnovers for the Queens, 3. 36-5 from those 2 positions.
And you look at the game, you look at the score, that is a huge, huge part of it right now.
Going to have a timeout here called by the Whai. Mel Bennett, she's let the players had their timeout on the court and have a chat. And now she's brought them over to the sideline to have her chat. 13-point margin. Whai at the moment dominating this game tonight. Monday night action in the GJ Gardner homes, Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa. 2 games already played at this round. The Pauakai 75 went down to the Kahu 83. The Pauakai actually led that game for a long, long way.
They did. That was a very, very good game. And the Kahu just got something going for them right now. They've been down in some games and they've just found ways to win. And it's almost that self-perpetuating. If you can figure out ways to win, you can figure out ways to win. And they're doing a fantastic job of that. As I believe it was Hayes Walker and Maddie Gordon there.
And then, of course,
supporting her teammate from the other game.
Yesterday, the Hoiho 60 got their first win of the season and first win as a franchise, defeating the Whai 60-52. One more game to come in round 4 tomorrow night, 7 p.m. All the action, of course, right here on Sky Sport. Kahu and the Hoiho in action tomorrow night. Set to get back underway. 3 minutes to play in this opening half. Here's Kyra Lambert. Been a star tonight with 11 points. Hits Green up high. Flavel. Great from the arc. Goes inside. Called on the reach. Jamie Nard. And I think that's her second personal foul. But importantly, with the foul count, which has been dominated by the home team, that will send Rabadi to the Razine line to have a look at another couple, and she's 4 of 4 from that position tonight.
Just easy money right there, 5 of 5. And like I mentioned earlier, the Whai doing a great job working inside and putting some pressure on the paint as Rabadi gets another one to go. Perfect from the line, from the Razine foul line tonight. The Queens have had possessions where they haven't really put the ball in the paint, as we see Beckley miss a 3 long on that one. But once again, there was no pressure on the defense. There was no pressure on the officials to make calls. So you can see how that foul count is balanced out the way it is, or imbalanced, I should say.
And Rabadi has 10 in the game now. Here's Lambert. Green. Inside now, Rabadi gets it from McGoldrick. That one just over the top. Loose ball. Nikki Green comes up with it again. Had 6 offensive rebounds last time these 2 teams met, and she's making her presence felt inside once more. Rabadi on the turn. Can't quite get the drop. That was halfway down. Nard has fallen out of court. Right in front of us here.
She did have a puzzled look on her face after that one.
Referee Melanie O'Connor said no contact from Flavel. Margin at 15. Here's Rabadi. Short corner, Nikki Green, that one in and out. McGoldrick, big rebound over the top, snatched out of her hands by Stella Beck, the Queen's captain. Swings it out to Chagas inside for Gustafsson, and she's off to the Rosine line for two. And when you're out of form, not getting much of the ball, here's the GJ Gardner Holmes replay. In fact, took out our camera in the end. One of the best places you can find some confidence, Miles Pearce, is right here at the coloured stripe. Maybe.
Completely agree with you. And that possession there from the Queens, just a little more patience. We saw that Chagas with a little drop off, as Gustafsson can't get either of those to go. But they're putting some pressure on the paint, on the officials. And those are the things that they need to do to chip away at this lead.
Rabadi left alone. Over the top, Nard picks it up. Gustafsson still the one shot in the game, yet to score. Missed both from the Rosine. Here's Nard taking contact. Can't finish. Rabadi, who's having some sort of a game tonight, picks up the rebound. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Has been involved in everything in this opening half. Here's McGoldrick for 3. That goes deep. Nard with the rebound to Chagas. They try and pick it up here. Inside the last minute, Stella Beck for 3. That one doesn't drop. Falls to Lambert. They've got some numbers forward here, the Whai. McGoldrick, Rabadi, Green. They just continue to push the ball around. McGoldrick now for 3, drains it. What a big basket on the edge of half-time for the Whai.
And that just keeps that scoreboard going for the Whai. While the only thing building right now is we see Nard go from deep. Gustafsson with a rebound, but waved away.
She's going to get called for the foul here. I'm not sure that the contact was that much, but it was made to be looked pretty ugly in the end. Here it is on the GJ Gardner Holmes replay. You may see it off the ball here. Lambert boxing out. And as she went forward on contact, she really gave the official no other choice but to call it. It's an 18-point margin. It's almost reminiscent of when these two teams played on this court, but in reverse.
You're right there. 20-point lead for the Queens last time. And the Whai managed to peg that back in. 4-point game. Quite an interesting and thrilling game in the end.
Queens shooting 8 of 26. Just 30% as Lambert makes the second. She's got a game-high 12 points. The Whai currently shooting at 42%, leading the rebounds 22 to 19. The Queens with 12 turnovers in this first half. Dying seconds. Turnover. Beckley nowhere to go. Again, struggling against this zone. Flavel, ball on the floor. Missy Nuku's out there now. And between them, one of them stepped on the sideline, which is going to give the Queens the last shot of this opening half.
And back-to-back turnovers, one from each team there. Something that we've seen a lot of for the Queens. Unfortunately, not a lot for the Whai. Let's see what Beck can create here.
Looks to get all the way to the basket and does. So maybe some confidence there for the Queens on the edge of half-time. GJ Gardner Holmes replay. Stella Beck somehow found a way to the hoop. But they face a long road back at the half. The Whai, who yesterday against the Hoi, scored 52 points for the game. They've got 45 in a half here tonight. The Queens being punished from turnovers, and the Whai definitely using that zone to full effect defensively tonight. One of the stars of the game in the opening half has been Kyra Lambert. Here she is with Miles Pearce.
Kyra, impressive first half for you guys. That zone really disrupting the Queens, forcing 12 turnovers. How do you carry this over to the second half?
We just got to stay consistent, honestly. Like, buckle down when things get rough, when things get tired. We just have to stay together and keep communicating and rotating.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good luck for the second. 12, 13 turnovers for you guys. A few too many. How do you guys look after the ball better?
Just making better decisions. I think they're playing a 2-3, obviously. I think they scouted us, figured out it's hard to guard one-on-one, but we haven't really played against a 2 or 3, but we have to make adjustments.
And points in the paint, they're up to 18, 20 points. How do you take care of that?
We're not going to get any calls. We just have to be more physical. They're getting what they want, and we have to be more physical and try and stop them early because they're getting early position. So.
All right, thank you. Good luck for the second half. Back to you, Justin.
Halftime here at Te Rauparaha Arena on a Monday night in the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa. And it's the Whai. They're out by 17. We'll take a look at how they've done it. We'll pick apart all of the stats on the other side of this program.
Hopefully Sam will some shell shots.
I'm going to ask you a honest question. No one of these, you play basketball? You don't? Okay, that's all right. Let me. Okay, sorry, Sam.
7 rebounds.
Do you play basketball? Yes, you do. And so, do you enjoy yourselves? Yeah, do you enjoy yourselves? So, Fano, so where you sit? So way up there. So what happens is the whole road is a bag of proper crisp cheeser, peanut tortilla chips, courtesy of Rami. So, Fano, make some noise for Rami. So, thank you, Sam. I appreciate you guys. I think you guys are good. So, we're going to do something new too. We're going to give away a t-shirt.
We go.
And so, if you dance the best
and then throw it
right now, I'm going to choose one person from that side, then I'm going to walk over to this side and pick one dancer from this side. And hold up. Just remember, Fano, everyone, take out your Instagram, start filming now. No pressure, okay? So what we're going to do is, we're going to go to this side, and I'm going to look for the best dancer, and Roy will drop us a nice fat beat, and then I'm going to give the winner a t-shirt. Okay, Fano, are you guys ready? Woski, you got a beat for us, my brother? Okay. Oh, yeah. Everyone on this side, watch that side. Watch that side, just watch. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Who's the big dancer? Oh, yeah. That one over there is doing pretty good. Look, that one over there is doing good too. Oh, yeah, they're doing good too. Okay. Green team, can you see one? Can you see them real quick? What about that up there?
Welcome back to Te Rauparaha Arena, Porirua, just outside of Wellington City tonight. Monday night action, all of your basketball, of course, covered right here on Sky Sport throughout the Tauihi and NBL seasons. Justin Nelson and Miles Pearce with you. And at halftime, the Whai leading this one by 17. And there's a few key stats, Miles, that will tell us exactly why.
I think so. We go through the points here. Kyrie Lambert leading the way for the Whai, doing a great job. And I think all the stats we see, the big ones won't show up here. And that for me is the points from turnovers and points in the paint. And the Whai are just dominating those two areas of the game.
The Whai with 18 points off turnovers, 18 points in the paint. By contrast, those 36 points are matched back the other way by the Queens, who have 4 points in the paint and 5 points from turnovers. That's 36-9.
And that's the ball game right now. It is absolutely a one-sided domination in the paint, and the turnovers are just hurting the Whai. So it's going to be an interesting fix for Coach Toomey to find out what's going on and how they can put a stop to this.
Well, as is always the way at a Tokomanawa Queens game, it feels like we've come to a disco and a game of basketball has broken out. Great to see the fans having fun at the half. Their team have some work to do in the second half. They trail by 17. Whai with a big gap at the moment. Can the Queens turn it around? Second half, not too far away. Been talking about the final six in the Sal's NBL so far tonight and just how close that race is. Tickets have gone on sale for the final six to be played at Event Finder on the North Shore between August 10 and 13. 5 games of basketball. And boy, oh boy, are we set for a thrilling finish in the Sal's NBL this season. Make sure you head to eventfinder.co.nz and grab your tickets now.
Would you care to make any predictions, Justin, on who's going to finish in the top 6 and where will they finish in the top 6?
If there's one thing I've learned this year through multiple errors, as we see Reggie Upshaw Jr. enjoying the cold weather with the beanie on tonight, the Saints star international who joined just a couple of weeks ago. If there's one thing I've learned so far this season in the Sal's NBL, is just forget about tipping or predicting anything. It's a complete and utter waste of time, Miles.
There has been some upsets and some unpredictable things happening this season. 41 years in, you know, it's great to see this unpredictability.
And how about some of the regions this year? The Nelson Giants, the Taranaki Airs, especially the Airs. The fans at the moment throughout Taranaki, New Plymouth and all of those surrounding towns, they must be beside themselves at the moment. Speaking of Taranaki Airs, there's one of their players here tonight, Hayes Walker.
Enjoying some fries and enjoying...
Don't let the coach see you eating those, Hayes.
There we go.
Just ducks back out of the way. Maybe he knew the camera was on him. Well, no doubt, Miles, in the second half of this one tonight, we're going to see the Whai continue to play a zone. And why wouldn't they? What do the Queens need to do?
The Queens need to look after the ball. They had 7 turnovers in the first quarter, tidied it up a little bit and only had 6 in the second quarter. But 13 for a half, way too many. They also need to start controlling the ball a little bit more in terms of where they're shooting their shots. 18 of their 28 shots have been threes, and they're not shooting the ball at a great clip, as opposed to the Whai, 8 of their 33, dominating points in the paint with 18.
Second half underway, Nikki Green comes up short on the shot. Stella Beck misses what she should have finished in the end. That would have been an electric start for the Queens in this third quarter.
There's that zone you spoke of.
Well, I wouldn't be going out of it, given its effectiveness in the first half. I mean, the Queens right now, they're the ones that need to answer. They have been well and truly strangled by this Whai zone, and I've got no doubt that the other 3 teams in Tauihi are watching what the Whai are doing to the Queens right now, and will be taking down some notes. Here's Lambert to Green. Big finish, no. Those two have teamed up for a couple of early looks in this third quarter as Rabati knocks the ball out of play. Change to the Queens lineup here to start the second half, by the way. Jacinta Beckley is on the floor.
And she adds a scoring punch that the Queens desperately need.
Here she is with some space at the top. Fires away. And right on cue, Miles Pearce, you could not have scripted that any better.
She's just doing us a favour and making the commentary team look quite intelligent at times, but she really does bring a little bit of a spark off the bench, and her ability to score when they've been struggling to get the scoreboard ticking over, as we see Rabati answer back with the 3 of her own.
And that's a very good answer as well. 13 points in the game now for Sian Rabati. Had 17 when they first met, so she's right there again. Beckley with a bit of an early heat check in this third quarter. Lambert spoke to her, Miles, after an electric first half. From Kyra Lambert, was involved in everything. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals. Here's the replay on that entry to Nikki Green. Just came off the hand of Jamie Nard, who's got that matchup.
And that is a tough matchup for anyone. Green is so strong and powerful inside.
There's Flavel. We know what she can do from the arc. She drives the baseline short corner. Nikki Green.
She's such a patient player. Lets the game come to her. Doesn't force any shots. Already with 7 or 8 rebounds to her name. Really enjoy watching her play. As we see Nard go from 3. Too strong on that one.
We'll get another opportunity here. Chagas. Just a little hesitation there on the dribble. Can't complete the shot off the glass. It falls to Beck. Beck just scoops it up. Not sure if it was a pass or a shot in the end. Gustafsson keeps it alive. Chagas now on the drive has it knocked out of her hand by McGoldrick. The Queens somehow, through all of that, will keep possession and have 10 seconds on the shot clock.
I think that scoop came off a desperation shot clock issue, as we see the replay there. Really was Jamie Nard by herself fighting everyone.
Can't put away the shot. It's knocked clear. She picks it back up. Jamie Nard, ball on the floor. Finds Beckley in the corner. And they're firing away from deep, the Queens, but without success. It's a 19-point margin.
And they're not going to get this back all in one hit. They need to find ways to chip away. And 4 or 5 possessions in a row, like 4 or 5 offensive rebounds in that possession, able to try and earn them extra shots is absolutely fantastic. They've got to reward themselves for that work, as we see Green on the up fake and kick out. Flavel knocked down some, knocks down another.
Long way from home on that occasion from Aotearoa Flavel, and that's her 4th triple of the game. So, boy, she made an impact tonight, Miles.
And you've had a 3 from Rabadi and a 3 from McGoldrick, but Flavel's the one who's really doing the damage from downtown for the Five. They need to know where she is at all times.
And when you look for the Queens, hard pass inside there, Mason to Nard. Queens probably had 4 shots from outside the arc miss prior to that Flavel shot going down. On the buzzer, Stella Beck with the foul. Can you believe the Phi have passed their score from their game yesterday against the Hoiho? Shot 52 in that game. They're at 53 now. Just looks a completely different team to what we saw yesterday down south.
It is a very cold time of the year, so maybe we could give them a little credit for dealing with that. And
You're in the Casey Frank. You're in the Casey Frank corner here when we talk about having off nights down south, eh?
I believe that, and Casey will know. And shout out to Hawks assistant coach Kane Hokianga, who's from down there. And when we were teammates, his folks actually were kind enough to bring hot water bottles and blankets for the bench.
Come on. Here's Jamie Nard for 3.
Another offensive rebound. The Queens are doing a great job getting extra possessions right now through their ability to rebound, but need to be able to knock down some shots, as we see that one from Mason a little short.
They do come up with it again, though. Here's Langton outside the arc. Can hit a 3. They certainly had a lot of looks from deep to start this third quarter, the Queens. Nard now goes it alone inside, kicks it back to Langton. Mason inside to Nard. She's fouled by Hadamaya, who picks herself back up.
The physicality inside has gone up another level. And if that keeps going, who will benefit from that in the end?
Margin at 22. You can see the Queens have rung some changes here. Eva Langton and Paris Mason into the game. Here's Chagas. Cut off easily by Rabadi inside. Another turnover for the Queens. Here's Nikki Green. Rabadi inside, long time in the key. Doesn't matter, turns around on the jumper and nails another basket.
And more points in the paint. Adding insult to injury for the Queens.
Well, they've dominated that area tonight. Stella Beck finds her way through. She pleads her case for a whistle. Flavel comes back into the game for the Phi. Grace Hunter steps back onto the floor for the Queens. Here is Stella Beck. Was there contact? Didn't look like a lot. Certainly a hand on the ball. Queens have it back here. Langton set for a triple, back of the iron. And there's a foul off the rebound. It'll go against the Phi, and it'll be against Sean Rabadi.
So Mason get knocked to the floor.
You talked about that physicality having gone up a notch. Queens with plenty of opportunities so far in this third quarter, just struggling to put the ball in the hoop. Langton on the cut, tries to keep it in the end. Hunter now runs into Lambert, has to fire from deep, and somehow comes up with the points.
It wasn't the prettiest possession, but it ended up in the way they needed it, and that was with some points on the board.
Now the Whai will look to respond. Flavel has already hit 4 from downtown tonight. She may go again here over Langton. That one's off. She knew it was too because she quickly chased it down.
I do like this lineup for the Queens, adding a little bit of extra length and athletic ability as we see Beck knock down a 3, and Coach Mel Bennett quickly calls a timeout there.
And again, similar to what we saw in the first half from Coach Mel Bennett, there's that inside-outside ball for the Queens. Stella Beck finishing off, but I do like the coaching of Mel Bennett. Straight away, without hesitation, back-to-back threes, that's it, stop the game, we're going to have a chat.
And they've done, the Whai have done such a good job not allowing those kinds of shots. Every single shot seems to have been hard fought and contested. To give up, well, the Hunter 3 was a scramble at the end of the shot clock. But that next 3, uncontested off a good inside-outside from Mason. She doesn't like the look of that. So they're there talking it over.
Whai shooting at 46% tonight, and we talked about the Queens and how much they really had dominated possession through the first half of this third quarter. In that time, they've just managed 3 of 16 shots. So plenty of opportunities. There's that Grace Hunter triple right on the expiration of the shot clock.
See the lights going off on the backboard there. She clearly beat the clock, and that was a tough finish on a very, very tough possession for the Queens.
Shooting at just 27% in this game tonight. The Queens, it has been an Achilles heel. And it's a big reason why the Whai lead this one by 18. Speaking of reasons, Kyra Lambert. Again, showing that turn of speed. GJ Gardner Holmes replay here. And again, if you go backwards on Kyra Lambert, she's going to take you to the basket. I mean, a really good lesson there for young Paris Mason. Step up and push her sideways.
Mason,
take her out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, Mason tried to use some length and some size there, but Lambert just too good.
13 in the game.
As the Queens bring the ball down, what can they manufacture here? Corner 3 off. Mason able to keep it alive.
She's known for her three-point shooting, Eva Langton, and she's...
Well, that's the Queens' 29th three-point shot.
Well, she's 0 of 3, but I actually like every look that she's taken so far, so I'd like to see her keep shooting. That is such a dangerous pass into Jamie Nard from Grace Hunter, and they've turned it over again. That's turnover number 16 for the Queens. There is Eva Langton. She's about to take a spell as Grace Valfusi comes on for her first run.
And I remember watching Grace as a high school player, and she was just a menace on the defensive end of the floor.
Great pass, Hedemeier into Nikki Green.
So I'm sure the Queens will be hoping that she can bring that same intensity here tonight to help close out the third quarter as we see Jamie Nard finding Grace Hunter in the corner.
Yeah, foul there called on Hedemeier. That's her third personal foul. Margin at 22. Game dominated by the Whai tonight. They won the first quarter 23-15 and backed it up in the second with a 22-15 run. And again, another dangerous pass by the Queens. who are really struggling at times to hold possession in this one. Here's Nard to the basket. She's fouled. She'll head to the Resine. Just 6 points in the game for Nard tonight. She shot 2 of 12. Florencia Chagas, leading scorer for the home team with 11. Alan Gustafsson, who's on the sidelines at the moment, still just the one shot in the game, yet to score.
And that was that 3 earlier on in the first half, and she's just too good to have only one shot at this stage. The Queens need to get something going right now and figure out ways to just get that scoreboard ticking over. But it's still got to start with some stops as we see some extended pressure from Mason.
Well, they put 82 on the Whai when they met earlier this season. Scoring certainly hasn't been that easy tonight. Here's Flavel, head down, is met by both Valfusi and Nard.
And that was a great defensive play. Both players coming along, helping each other out.
Whai to keep possession here. Just over 3 minutes to go in this third quarter as Lily Taulale steps back onto the floor. And straight away, she's going to have to look after Nikki Green, who also comes back into the action. Here's Rabati. Attacks the basket, comes up short. Taulale with the rebound.
There's the stop they need. Now they've got to turn this into a score.
Here's Hunter for 3. That one looks deep. It is. Misses everything. Green picks it up. Hands it off to Lambert. Beck comes to meet her on this occasion. Green underneath. Just that little hesitation, that up fake. It drew Taulale off the floor.
And that is some experience.
There's that pump fake.
Going right there. Got both players off the floor.
Nikki Green, 131 games with Penn State. Out of North Charleston in South Carolina. Picked 26 in the 2013 WNBA draft by the Phoenix Mercury. And has played plenty of basketball around the world. Here's Stella Beck for 3. Misses. Taulale gets it back. Pulls up on the edge of the Resine. And the young fans here who know all too well about the rise of young Lily Taulale find some voice on that made basket. Lambert with the hesitation. What a finish.
That's just a very, very impressive move. High class and able to get to the basket to create a shot for herself there.
16 in the game now for Lambert. Nard inside, off the glass, and that might just be one of the easiest baskets the Queens have had tonight.
And it came off some ball movement and a kick inside. I think the Queens need to be very particular about their shot selection at the moment, because when they have gotten stops, they've got to turn that into a bonus and get something going at the other end.
Offensive foul, moving screen called on Shan Rabati. Her third personal in the game. Substitutions aplenty for both teams. GJ Gardner Holmes, Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa. Monday night action, round 4. Still one game to come in this round as Chagas is under pressure. Kahu and the Hoi Ho tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on Sky Sport. Make sure you join us for that one. Here's Chagas for 3. Late shot. Big rebound, Lambert.
And just another possession that's been disrupted by this Whai defense. The Queens have got to figure out something that is going to work as we see a baseline rip. Flavel's going to get to the Resine foul line on that. It just seems to me right now that the Whai have more time and are able to get what they want, where they want, every possession down the floor, while the Queens are almost scrambling to get some of the shots that they're coming up with.
How do you think Coach Tanya Tupu's doing on that couch at the moment? Miles. Missing tonight, of course, the Queen's coach with illness. Sam Toomey with the whiteboard.
I don't know if it's a good evening in the Tupu household watching the TV.
Here's Flavel from the Razine. What a game she's had tonight.
She has indeed. And it's tough because the Whai have shot the ball very, very well. Very selective, only 11 threes, but 6 of 11 going at 54%. Their defense forcing 16 turnovers so far.
Here's Hunter under pressure. Chagas weaves her way to the basket, found a gap, finishes strong off the glass. 13 points in the game. She'll go and have a look from the coloured stripe now and try and add another point. Good finish here. Nikki Green with the reach.
Just couldn't quite get out of the way quick enough. And now if the Queens can get on a little mini run here, they need to stop here, finish the quarter with a score. Anything is possible. We see Chagas gamble on that, but a great run on by Nard.
Good pair of hands here for the Whai though. Lambert, Flavel, speaking about a good set of hands. Can't nail that one from range.
And
Shot clock just inside the game clock.
There's the stop we spoke of. What can they come up with and create here with the game clock and shot clock running down?
Chagas gets it back from Taulele. Again, somehow found a way through traffic. Good defense though. In the end, created a tough shot. They'll get it back here, the Queens. It won't matter. Buzzer sounds. 3/4 time. And the Whai still leading this one by 17. 18 points apiece in that third quarter, but it is a long way back tonight for the home team. Whai leading this one. Last quarter not too far away on Sky Sport this evening. Stick with us.
Whatever you have, $5 or $5 million, Shizzy's is all about creating financial empowerment for everyone. Whatever will take from $50, Shizzy's gift voucher to start the rest of your journey, okay? So, we're to get a dancing thing happening real quick. Oski, we got like a beat, a dance beat. So, I'm going to have a look on this side. Queen T will check on that side. So once again, let's just check your dancing skills. Is anyone a good dancer out there? Okay, Roski, you ready? Oh, shoulders. Queen T, you watch that side. And I'll watch this side.
Welcome back to Te Rauparaha Arena tonight. Queen T entertaining the crowd. And crowd certainly looking for something to cheer for tonight. The hometown Queens trailing this one by 17. A very impressive performance tonight by the Whai. Justin Nelson and Miles Pearce with you. Miles, your thoughts for three-quarter time?
Once again, it comes down to the Queens. We've spoken about it over and over again. Just too many turnovers. The Queens have actually taken more shots than the Whai. But those turnovers, as we see, nearly another one right there, and shooting percentage is dominating the game.
7 more shots, in fact, tonight for the Queens. But 16 turnovers. Here's Stella Beck in the corner.
And
Hunter to Beckley. comes up short.
Short on that one. And the Queens have done a good job trying to offset their turnovers with some great effort on the glass. Leading the game in rebounds. 15 offensive rebounds is huge, but they just need to be able to look after the ball a little better and knock down some shots.
Shooting at 28%. Here's Lambert. Inside, McGoldrick on the turn. Shot clock expires. So an early stop here for the Queens. As you've been alluding to quite often throughout the game, Miles, it's one thing to get a stop. You have to convert that into points back the other way.
And I think that's where the Queens just haven't taken advantage of some of the advantages they're created.
Here's Stella Beck, 8 points in the game tonight. Chagas to Nard. Hasn't been her night shooting-wise. 3 of 13 for Jamie Nard tonight. Again, a hard ball inside from Beckley. Nard called for the 3 seconds. I think the Queens think there's a foul that's been called here. This is actually going to be a 5 ball. And the Queens have now just figured out that there actually wasn't a foul, and it was a 3-second call.
I think Nard had a great position on the first catch, but it took so long to get the ball to her that they missed that and turned the ball over again with a 3-second call. It was
Flavel for 3. That's her 5th of the night. She's out to 17 points in the game. 5 of 8 shooting from deep for Flavel. Has been a real key player in this one as Jacinta Beckley answers back the other way. I'd even look to change things up for the Queens offensively. Maybe put Stella Beck inside. Just do something different.
Well, I love coaches who are willing to roll the dice on some things, and we see Kendall getting all the way to the rim, getting hit and getting to the Rosine foul line. But throwing a guard in the middle against the zone is an action that I really, really like. Guards are really good decision makers. They're fairly good passers the majority of the time.
Usually, and Stella Beck is
she's very good. And they can knock down that foul line jumper at a pretty high clip. So you're getting some great decision making, some great passing, and a real threat there. So throwing Beck inside or even Chagas inside, you're taking away some of the penetration opportunities, but you're really gaining a lot as well.
Here's Kendall Hedemeyer. Makes the second one from the Rosine. She has 3 points in the game tonight. Grace Hunter. Just some uncontrolled awkwardness amongst all of that. Not sure that her team was ready for her. And in the end, it's a jump ball call, and possession is going to go the way of the Whai. So
I thought Green was going to pick the ball and Grace Hunter up at the same time.
She nearly did in the end, you're right, well spotted. Certainly been a night for the Whai this evening. No doubt they would have done some soul searching after that loss to the Hoiho yesterday down in Dunedin, and they have responded in the best possible way here tonight. Right from the start, they took control and came out on a mission. Here's Rabati, just rushed that shot in the end.
Where was this defensive pressure from the Queens at the start of the game?
Well, I think that's something they'll pick apart after this game.
Because this quarter, they've come out, this is a different team on the defensive end of the floor.
Nard, too deep on the shot. Here's Lambert. And I think the defense on Lambert has just changed up a bit. They're now pushing up and in rather than going back all the time. And that's forcing Lambert to make early decisions. Here's McGoldrick on the turn. Hunter just got a little hand on that. Affected the shot. Nard now to the corner. Hunter skipping through traffic, draws the foul. Beckley hit the shot, but that won't matter. Lambert with the foul. That's her third personal.
Anytime the Queens can get the clock stopped right now is a bonus for them. They need to be able to try and generate some stuff, particularly at the foul line, to stop the clock and try and earn some points that way.
Chagas for three. Looked good off the hand. Straight away, you can almost tell with Florencia Chagas' shots from deep. And it's back to 15. So maybe just some nervous moments here for the Whai, who have really dominated this game tonight. Still some work to do. Rabani picks up the dribble. Flavel's been excellent from range. Absolutely lights out stuff from Flavel tonight. That's her 6th triple of the game.
And she's the one doing the damage from downtown with a mixture of people. Green, Lambert, it was just a great find, great kick out to Hunter.
Flavel tonight is 6 of 9 from deep, has 20 points in the game. As a team, the Queens are now 11 of 35 from deep. Once the stats tick over, there's Gustafsson's been quiet tonight. Chagas again looked good off the hand, and she drains back-to-back triples for the Queens.
Now they've just got to make sure they can lock in and get another stop here.
And Flavel's actually gone off the court, and they do get a stop. Stella Beck now for the Queens. Can they bring this margin down even further? Beck goes baseline on the drive against Green, hands it off to Gustafsson underneath. Back to Beck with the little jumper, it's good.
And there's the possession after possession of pressure defense. Queens just getting stop after stop and finally taking advantage of it, cutting that lead to 13.
Sky City player timeout called here. Now this will be by the Whai off the baseline, so they'll get the chance to bring it forward. They used their Sky City player timeout in the first half. They've used their one and only for the second half now as well. So the Queens still have theirs up their sleeve. Ball will advance. No doubt the quick conversation there and some really good leadership. Kyra Lambert straight away. Sky City player timeout. Hey, we need to have a quick chat here. Get back to what we were doing earlier offensively. Move the ball around. Look for Nikki Green inside. But all of a sudden, Miles, the Queens just have a bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
You're right there, and I think that was a great timeout, player timeout, because they're just trying to disrupt this run of the Queens. And
5.5 to play.
The Queens have been able to take advantage of their good defense and some pretty good matchups, as we saw in that last possession there. Beck taking Green off the dribble, being able to create for someone getting the ball back and knocking down the jump shot.
Stella Beck 10 points in the game now. Here's McGoldrick for three. Rebound, important here. Jamie Nard comes up with it. She's got Chagas running free on the other side of the floor. Instead goes inside to Gustafsson. Big step to the basket. Foul against Ezra McGoldrick. Just her first of the game. And Gustafsson will head to the Racine line, where she is 0 of 2 so far tonight.
And with just over 5 minutes to play, these two free throws are very, very important. She knocks this down. She knocks these both down. We're cutting it back to an 11-point game, and another stop. The way the Queens are playing defense this quarter, it is just vastly different, vastly improved from the first three.
I know we've said it a couple of times tonight, but it is so reminiscent, this game, of when these two teams played earlier this season. It's just flipped completely the other way. Now it's the Queens that are coming home strong, as we saw the Whai do to the Queens back in round one. It's an 11-point margin. Rabadi, was she pushed? No call. Meyer keeps it alive, but she stepped on the line. So the Queens are going to get it back.
And this crowd is starting to get a little bit more lively every single possession.
Flavel to come back into the game here, and I like this. I was a little bit surprised that she was off the floor. Here's the GJ Gardner-Holmes replay, and you can just see the ball there hit the baseline.
And with Flavel checking back in, the Queens need to be aware of where she is on the floor every single time. She has just been on fire tonight from the three-point line.
Well, she was subbed out just after she hit her 6th triple, and I'm not sure whether it was a premeditated sub, but she's quickly back into the action now. Beck in the corner. Chagas, tough pass for Beck. That's well blocked by Rabadi. Mason comes up with it. They've got to get a shot off. The shot clock actually was reset, and it didn't hit the ring. So I think the Whai are going to come up with the ball here. They will, and that's the right call.
And the Whai increase, definitely up the ante on that defensive possession. Very, very good defensively. Just forcing the Queens into some passes that took a little too long, and you see them get the win there as we see Flavel knocked to the ground.
Lambert, 16 points, 9 rebounds in this game. Doing some work here on Chagas. Beck with the rebound. Lead at 11, 4 minutes to play.
What a matchup that has been between the two international point guards.
Big basket here would be big for the Queens. Nard is fouled by Green. Jamie Nard, 3 of 14 shooting tonight. 10 points, 11 rebounds. She's off to the Rosine where she's a perfect 4 of 4.
And can cut this lead to single figures.
Been a while since we've been in single digits. Makes the first. Of course, a star with 128 games for the Tennessee Lady Vols. Makes both from the line. Out of Portland, Oregon, Jamie Nard. And we're going to get a timeout, are we? No, in fact, no timeout. So a little bit of confusion on the floor. The Queens have all gone to the bench.
Paris Mason's left standing alone.
She knew what was going on back in the middle of the floor. She wasn't going to waste any energy and walk all the way to the sideline. So they've got to wait for the Queens to come back onto the floor here. And now we've got a timeout. So, can you work that out?
No idea. No idea. But there was, as you said, a little bit of confusion. And probably, I'm not quite sure.
I think the timeout has gone the way of the Queens. Although, they just nailed the shots from the Rosine. It's a 9-point margin anyway, with just under 4 minutes to play. This last quarter, the Queens leading at 15-7. And it has been some sort of a fight back. Florencia Chagas, 20 points in the game. Jamie Nard with 12 points and 11 rebounds. Stella Beck with 10. Beckley has 9 off the bench. For the Whai, Tangaroa Flavel, the star of the show tonight. 20 points, 6 of 9 triples. Kyra Lambert, 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 steals, Miles. She's been everywhere. Sean Rabadi has 15 points.
And it's been an absolute battle inside, and it's great to see. And I'm loving the point guard matchup. But right now, it's coming down to who's going to make some shots down the stretch. The Queens need to be aware of Flavel and her ability to shoot the ball. But if Chagas or Beck can get hot, this game is going to be up for grabs.
Hope you're enjoying it. Your home of sport, Sky Sport. Of course, plenty more basketball action coming up in the Tauihi and the NBL, and also the Commonwealth Games. 3x3 action about to start this week in Birmingham with the Tall Ferns and Tall Blacks in action. McGoldrick misses the big triple. Rabadi keeps it alive though.
Just took that away from Jamie Nard.
They'll come again. How big was that offensive rebound? Doesn't matter. The Queens come up with it. Chagas on the attack. Pulls it back out to Nard. She now finds a lane to the basket and drops the shot. It's back to 7. Out of nowhere, the Queens storming home in this one. Still a long way to go.
Lambert slow to get up there after that penetration by Jamie Nard. Great finish.
And all of a sudden, this crowd is on its feet. It would be the most unlikely of victories, given the dominance of the Whai here tonight, especially in the first half.
Up 24.
Biggest lead tonight was 24.
Up 24, and with just 3:14 to go, just holding on to a 7-point lead.
Whai with 3 team fouls as well, so keep an eye on that. Here's McGoldrick with Mason. She's doubled. Beck with the help. Rabati has Nard in front of her. Here's Nikki Green. She calls up Flavel. They've got to close down the gaps on Flavel. She's been on fire tonight. Green, hard pass inside. Doesn't put it in. How did that not drop? Mason with the rebound.
That's a great look from the Whai, and you're right. How did that not go? It hit every single part of the rim and didn't fall.
Listen to the crowd get up if they score from this shot here. Nard can't complete. 4 of 16 on the night for Jamie Nard.
I feel like the Queens can come up with a better shot than that in this time. They've done such a good job this quarter, getting on the rims, creating some pressure, causing the referees to make a call, as we see Lambert with that hesitation.
And in the end, Chagas just reaching in is called for the foul.
Lambert
there
with the
is.
pullback and hesitation. What a move.
Always love it when Chagas pleads to the referee. No, no, no. But they've got a chance here, the Queens. From an unlikely position, down 24 in this game. They've brought the margin back to 7. Can they get a stop here? Lambert on the inbound. Big shot, Kyra Lambert. How about that? What a basket.
And that's her first 3 of the game, and what a time to knock it down.
Takes it back out to 10. Can the Queens respond now? Nard inside, Gustafsson back out. Chagas, open shot, looks good. Can't complete. Beck with the rebound, up and in. Some big plays at both ends of the floor.
And the Queens bench is loving it. They are going crazy, well supported by this crowd. And this is the thing that could get them home right now. 1 to come for Beck.
Lead at 8. First trip of the game to the Racine line for the Queens captain, Stella Beck. Usually pretty good. That one in and out. Loose ball. Lambert comes up with it. Queens are all over her. And in the end, a jump's called. And I think this might be a Queens ball. It is. So they get it back.
And through sheer effort and desperation, the Queens have fought their way back into this game. Mason comes out. May lose a little bit on the defensive end, but they definitely gain some stuff in Beckley on the offensive end.
So keep an eye on timeouts here. We know the Queens still have their Sky City player timeout to use.
And we've seen that used quite well in some games just a couple of weeks ago when we were calling a game.
Not sure why we've got a hold up here.
Is everyone engaged? Is everyone...
The referee's just asking for the floor to be cleaned now. 1:45 left in this game. 8-point margin. Queens have possession back.
And the Queens right now just need a good look. Doesn't matter where that comes from. 3, mid-range, something at the basket, foul line. They just need a great look as they nearly turn it over on the inbound. We've seen that 3 or 4 times tonight.
Beck will get to the basket here off the glass. She makes it. She's come alive in this last quarter, Stella Beck. It's a 6-point game with just over 90 seconds to play. It would be one of the most unlikeliest victories if the Queens get up in this one tonight. The Whai have done a lot right for so long. Kyra Lambert has been a star tonight. One big basket a moment ago. There's an offensive foul in amongst this. It's going to be against Shan Rabadi. So Rabadi with the foul, clearing the path inside the paint, which Lambert used pretty well, by the way.
She did indeed.
And here she is holding back. Nah, not a lot in that.
Just, I think, that reverse pivot into Beckley.
And now the Whai pushing up the floor. That's their 4th team foul, by the way. So they can't afford to foul here. The Whai bringing the pressure up the floor. Queens trail by 6. A big 3-pointer here would make life very interesting indeed.
As we see Chagas off the staggered screens.
And off the glass. And fouled. And off to the Razine. How about this? The Queens have come from the clouds tonight. Down 24 in this game. The margin is now 4 with 64 seconds to play. GJ Gardner Holmes replay. Strong finish here from the Argentinian.
And the Queens have just put heat on the rim in this last quarter and been able to get to the foul line. And you see Chagas drain that to make it a 3-point, 1-possession game.
Do you think Coach Tanya Tupu's on the edge of her seat now, Miles?
She is indeed. I'm sure she is.
1-possession game. 50 seconds to play. Kyra Lambert calls up Nikki Green. Gets the switch. Now she steps back on Gustafsson. What a basket, Kyra Lambert. 2 massive triples in this last quarter. The star out of Duke University, Kyra Lambert. Have a look at this. That is all class, and that is the quality of the internationals who have come to Aotearoa to play basketball in season 2022. The GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi competition is alive and kicking with some stars of the game. How about that?
And Lambert hasn't really shown anything from the 3-point line for the first 3.5 quarters, only taking 1, but knocking down 2 in the clutch. And that one there to put them up 6.
22 points in the game, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 steals, and 2 clutch triples late in this game for Kyra Lambert.
Absolutely massive. It's going to be interesting to see how the Queens attack this next possession. Advancing the ball, they need to try and stretch this out. Are they going to try and get a quick score, potentially foul, or are they looking for something to answer that amazing 3 from Lambert?
Tell you what a lot of people would know about Kyra Lambert. Born in Palau, Guam, and during her collegiate career, just to show the resilience of Kyra Lambert, missed 2 seasons with 2 ACL injuries. So she's a competitor, and she has absolutely shown that in spades tonight as Gustafsson nearly turns it over. Chagas can't answer with the triple. Lambert with the rebound. That's her 11th of the game. She's the smallest player on the floor. Brings it up the court now. The Whai look to steady. Time's on their side. Shot clock inside the game clock, but they use it well here. The Queens don't foul. Loose ball now. They may come up with it. No, they won't. Look who's going to finish it off. Flavel.
And you could hear Coach Sam Toomey yelling foul from the sideline. They really needed to stop that clock. They almost got it done on the defensive end just there, but unfortunately, the ball bobbles loose right into Flavel's hand. Right time, right place. Probably her easiest bucket of the night.
Well, she's had some big baskets tonight. There's no doubt about that. She goes to 22 in this game. Between Flavel and Lambert, 44 points. 8 triples between the pair of them. Here's the GJ Gardner Holmes replay, and look at that, just dropped into her hands. She said, thank you very much. And that'll just about do it. The Queens threw everything at the Whai to get back into this game. But with 11.3 seconds to play, you can't help but feel the Whai have got this one and will be heading home with what's going to end up being a very dramatic road split in round 4.
Without a doubt. And 10 minutes ago, we would have been asking how much more can the Whai win by, but an amazing fourth quarter by the Queens, able to peg this back. Just running out of time a little bit.
Let's see what the Queens do out of this. Beck with the triple off the glass. Can't make it. Nard had it and lost it. And it's in a very safe pair of hands to finish this game off. Kyra Lambert, MVP performance tonight in the Tauihi.
And stepping up with the absence of Clark and McBride. She's done an absolutely fantastic job leading the team, but on the floor, leading the team. Like, she's just done a little bit of everything to get the Whai this win.
And that'll do us. A dramatic finish, a thrilling finish tonight. Monday Night Hoops, right here on Sky Sport. Gotta love what we've seen tonight. Women's basketball has gone to a whole new level in 2022. And the Whai, who came here with a purpose and to make a statement, and they certainly did that in the first half tonight. They were tested down the stretch, and they've held on for a dramatic 8-point victory. Celebrations all round for the visitors. They're going to be very happy with that after losing to the Hoiho yesterday by 8 points. They have capitalised on a lot of early turnovers by the Queens, a lot of missed shots. And they've got their own 8-point victory this evening. Kyra Lambert, a star with 22 points, 12 rebounds, 5 steals, and 2 massive clutch triples in that last quarter. Tangaroa Flavel, 22 points tonight also, 6 triples. Her shooting was on another level. Ezra McGoldrick finishes with 9 points. Nikki Green with 7. But the 2 stars of the show tonight, no doubt, Kyra Lambert and Matangaroa Flavel, and they both join Miles Pearce courtside.
That was a close one. Up 24. Queens had an incredible comeback in that fourth. How you feeling after that?
Oh man, I mean, we had a game last night. We had a tough loss, so it was a big push to come out here and win tonight. So I'm pretty, pretty shattered.
I can imagine you are. Tough doubleheader, tough travel. Didn't affect your shooting at all, though. How you feeling? You're not getting 6 of 9?
I don't know where that came from. Honestly, I think we knew that we needed the win tonight to stay in it. So I had to just bring out what we had, or what I had to win tonight. So it's good.
Congratulations on the win. Backed up that first half with an incredible second. Great leadership from the floor. What are you guys going to take from this win?
Man, that we could do hard things. We've been in a little bit of a slump, but today we definitely got out of it, and it was just about us coming together and focusing on what we can control.
You stepped up in the absence of Clark and McBride, and so many people with contributions. Flavel 6 of 9 from the 3-point line. How are you going to carry this over to your next one?
I mean, we just got to keep building on it. Like, we have weapons all over the court, and it's just a matter of us putting people in the right position. So we're going to build on this and continue to get better.
Good luck for the rest of the season, and thank you very much for an entertaining game.
Well, what a win by the Whai tonight. Let's have a look at the stats in this one. Out by as much as 24 points the Whai before that huge Queens comeback in the last quarter. The Queens won the last quarter 24-15. Florencia Chagas, 23 points for the Queens. Lambert with 12 rebounds, game high 12 rebounds, quite amazing. Shortest player on the court. There's the assists, evenly spread across both teams. Just a few blocks in the game, but wait until the steals come up. There you go, Kyra Lambert with 5 steals tonight. MVP performance, and she has led her team to a stirring win on the road.
And an absolutely huge win for them, particularly coming off a very tough loss from down south. So split the double, they've got to be happy with that.
Oh, no doubt, absolutely no doubt. They would have done some soul searching over the night. You never want to hand a team their first win of the season after they've gone 0-6. Games coming up. We are straight back into the action tomorrow night in the Tauihi. The Kahu and the Hoiho do battle at Event Finder.
And the last time they played there, that was a barn burner.
I was about to say, that might be first versus fifth, but last time they met was just a 5-point margin, and it went right down to the wire. Whai and the Queens coming up Sunday, the Whai back in action against the Kahu. How about this competition?
Absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to that Whai Kahu game, because if the Whai can carry over some of that, particularly first 3-quarter form that they had here tonight, the Kahu might be looking at their first loss of the season.
Smorgasbord of hoops. GJ Gardner Holmes, Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa, the Queens fans lining up for autographs. How good is this? They've just lost the game by 8, and the players are straight to the sidelines to meet the fans. Hope you've enjoyed it. Your home of basketball. That man's enjoyed it, and it is a smorgasbord of hoops throughout season 2022. The Whai get the win tonight by 8. More basketball coming your way tomorrow night. Join us then.